Hello and welcome to A Book in 5 Minutes with me, Lindsay Milner. Today I'm looking at a book that does focus on personal development, which anybody who's watched any of my previous videos knows is a particular interest of mine. And it is a little bit different from the usual, having said that, because it is about your physical health. It's about developing your physical health and making sure that you maintain the best physical health that you can, and how to deal with it as you're aging. Lots of really interesting stuff in there. It is Exercised by Daniel Lieberman. Lieberman is an anthropologist and an evolutionary biologist, and he looks at our evolution. He looks at hunter-gatherer tribes. He researches with current tribes who are still living that kind of lifestyle, extrapolates what he finds from that research to our evolutionary development. And he looks at, did we evolve to exercise? Why is it that when we need to go to the gym, we know we've scheduled to go to the gym, but when it comes right down to it, we just don't want to? He looks at motivation. He looks at some of the myths around exercising. Does running damage your knees, that kind of thing? Is sitting bad for you? And he looks at these in relation to how our hunter-gatherer ancestors developed and lived their lives, and compares that to how our current lifestyles, where we're sat behind a computer at a desk for long periods of time, and we're sat watching TV on the sofa for long periods of time, or probably more likely these days, we're not watching TV, but we're scrolling through YouTube, social media, that kind of thing. But we do spend a lot of time sitting. Now, the bad news is that Lieberman concludes, I accidentally read the last sentence in the book before I'd finished the complete book. And it came up with a very familiar, do cardio 5 times a week, possibly more, but most days do some cardio, 30 minutes, 45 minutes of cardio, pretty much every day. And then do some resistance training twice a week. Well, I mean, we've all heard that one before, right? We know that's what we're meant to be doing. It's the actual getting out there and doing it that's the troublesome part. So in one respect, I could say, if that's all you need to know, then don't bother to read the book. However, it's a really interesting read. It's got a lot of information in there about why we feel the way we do about exercise. There's some information in there on motivation, but I'll be honest, I don't think there was anything groundbreaking in that. It was things we've probably all heard before, put your gym clothes out the night before, or make the exercise necessary, like you have to walk somewhere because you've got an errand to do. Make it fun, exercise with a friend, set up a commitment with that friend so that you feel like you've got to go because you don't want to let somebody else down. All those kind of things are in there about motivation. But looking at that sort of evolutionary background as to why we feel the way we do is interesting. But probably for me, one of the most valuable chapters is the bit on how to deal with aging and disease, and how exercise helps to delay the onset of aging and feeling old. So, if you want to feel young, then you need to keep physically active. There's a lot of information in there about how it can help to prevent common modern diseases like heart disease, cancer, strokes, dementia, Alzheimer's, depression, and how useful physical activity is for helping to delay the onset of disease like that. He shows, I thought it was quite an interesting point, he shows that people who remain physically active, yeah, okay, they die, we all die, but they don't have a long illness, they don't have a long diseased period of their lifestyle, so their life, by remaining active, their lives are more comfortable more pleasant, you've got a better quality of life than somebody who doesn't remain active, starts to suffer from disease, obesity, heart disease, all those kind of things. And it affects their quality of life. So they have a longer sort of disease, not a very good quality of life before they die. So if you're interested in feeling younger, feeling more active, feeling better about your life, then you need to be doing that cardio most days a week and the resistance twice a week. So in one respect, nothing groundbreaking, but I like the way he's compared it with our ancestors, the hunter-gatherer lifestyle, and compared our modern lives to how people used to live. So it is a really, really interesting read. If you're just interested in fact, the blurb at the top of this says endlessly fascinating and full of surprises. I would agree with that. That's Bill Bryson said that. I agree. It is fascinating and there are some surprises in there. Although, as I say, a lot of it is not particularly groundbreaking. So would I recommend it? It's worth your time? Yes, absolutely. Exercised by Daniel Lieberman. That's this week's book in 5 minutes. That's me, Lindsay Milner. I will see you next time for another book in 5 minutes. Bye.